All right, let me see if I got this straight. Strand Hunters now have the strongest super in the game, Titans are suspending everything with their supers and barriers, and Warlocks have an army of Swarmers. I mean, Threadlings. Actually, stop. Just stop. I got a nickname for the Warlocks. We already got Arc Buddy for Arc subclass, we got Stacy for Stasis, and Void Boy for Void. I mean, come on, it's a Void Boy. Well, I literally just thought on the spot what the Strand Buddy's name can be. Drumroll, please. Strand is going to be called Swarmy. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you have a different name? I know all classes can technically use Threadlings, but let's be honest, the Warlock can wield them the best. What up, my fellow nerds? Tallen here, and subscribe to the channel if you like to play Destiny 2. Also, if you're looking for a clan to do raids, dungeons, etc., we got a ton of spots open in our 5-9 clan. Make sure you search us on Bungie's website and let us know that you've applied. All right, enough shameless plugging. It's time to get into the tips, tricks, glitches, and everything more that we found in the first week of Lightfall being out. These don't seem to be getting fixed anytime soon, maybe, and probably won't change until at least Season 21 in the summer. If you enjoyed the video, a like and a sub would be most appreciated, as it will help me feed the team. I keep knocking on the basement door again. All right, let's go ahead and start with a very simple, easy, but honestly, probably one of the most important little tips, things that has happened in Lightfall here in Destiny 2, and that is crafting. Now, if you are a returning player or you have not experienced crafting to much degree, then basically what this has allowed us to do throughout the game, not in every weapon, but we're allowed to craft certain weapons. You'll see a red border appear around certain weapons that you pick up sometimes. And when those red borders appear on your weapons, you can basically obtain that pattern. Certain weapons require a certain amount of patterns though. So for example, some weapons might require 3, others require 5. I don't think we've had anything that requires 7 yet, but I could be wrong when the raid releases this upcoming week as of March 10th. However, that being said, it has been changed in terms of how much certain things cost in order to craft them, because before Lightfall, it got quite expensive with using the Dorito currency that we had and using everything else that we had to acquire. Now though, it's a lot easier, and it's only going to get easier as Lightfall goes on. But as of right now in March 2023, when Lightfall is just released, here is what you need to know when it comes to crafting weapons. Still around from Witch Queen are the Resonant Alloys and the Ascendant Alloys. Resonant Alloys basically are what allow you to start the creation / crafting of your weapon, and the Ascendant Alloys are what allow you to craft your weapon with the enhanced perks. So you have to level up your weapon first just by simply using it, and after you've leveled it up and you want to enhance those perks, you then need to go and use Ascendant Alloys in order to do that. However, here where the changes come in. Barrels and rounds on your gun now cost Glimmer, so as long as you've got plenty of Glimmer, which for the most part most people do, all you need is Glimmer to upgrade these. Before going to Enhance, however, though, are only going to cost you Glimmer, 25 Legendary Shards, and 2 Enhancement Prisms, along with the Ascendant Alloy when you go into the Enhancement side. For Masterwork, aka a Masterwork in reloading, range, etc., is going to cost you some Resonant Alloys still, Glimmer, 27 Legendary Shards, and 17 Enhancement Cores. Other than that, that's all you really need. And if you really want an easy way to level up your weapon, you can be doing things like Terminal Overload, or you can go into certain raids at certain checkpoints to kill a bunch of enemies. There are dungeons you can also go into as well. Regardless, there are tons of ways to level your weapon up, but if you want something, in my personal opinion, is kind of like the easiest way while also doing other things, then I would personally say Terminal Overload, which we're about to get here in just a second, because this is a very important event, at least for this season and this expansion. Bottom line, it has never been easier to craft weapons than it is now, and it's only going to keep getting easier. So make sure you find weapons that you personally like and that are craftable, and check it in your patterns and get to work. Moving into Terminal Overload, there are 3 non-craftable weapons on Neomuna. Most of the weapons are craftable, but there are 3 weapons that are not craftable: the shotgun, the submachine gun, and the machine gun. There are 3 rounds in total to this particular event, and if you want to maximize your ability to get some of these god rolls, then you're gonna want to listen up for this one. Like I just stated, there are 3 rounds to this event. However, when you load into it, if it happens to be along in part 2 or part 3, then great, that is an easier, much faster farm for you, because after you open the chest for the first time, you can actually go back and acquire the free chest 2 more times if you are fast enough. We'll get into just a second here. There are 3 rounds in total for this particular event. If you start off with round 1, here's what you need to do. Round 1 will consist of defeating a total number of enemies of Cabal until it reaches 100%. However, watch out for the Cabal ship though, it will one-shot you. These are annoying and it won't end the event, but again, super annoying. Next, you want to move on to the Mark objective, which will have a ton of Vex around it. Find the plate and step on it until it reaches 100%. Once that is done, you'll see some glowing minotaurs coming towards your location. Defeat them to grab their arc cranium to destroy the 3 box nodes that are hovering above said plate that you just captured. Then you will have to fight a giant minotaur. You can actually use this little arm cannon here to melt this guy. Like, seriously, it's a game changer. Just do it. Finally, you're going to then see a Cabal mini-boss appear actually kind of back where you were already at the beginning of this round 1. Go to the marker while also taking out some of these turrets and take him down. Just melt him. Just throw everything you can at him, basically. Now that you've done all that for round 1, let's go on to round 2. Pretty simple, actually. Defeat Cabal, capture Vex Plate, destroy box nodes, defeat Giant Minotaur, and finally defeat a Cabal boss. However, this Cabal boss this time will be a tank, and red rings will start appearing on spots on the ground that are airstrikes from above. Try to avoid these. Taking out the tank is not too hard, but again, just keep an eye out for the airstrikes. Finally, round 3 will have 2 boss battles. The first boss battle will be a Cabal Scion. In order to damage him actually though, you need a Cabal enemy to show up. It will have a little symbol above its head. Once you defeat him, a dark power ring will appear on the ground. Enter it and you can shoot the shield off the boss, then just simply melt him. Throw whatever you have at him, basically. Boss 2 will be a giant minotaur with 3 health bar gates. Each time you take one down, 3 to 4 crystals will appear around the area. Destroy these to continue the damage phase. Also, don't forget to watch out for this little Vex enemy. It's kind of red and in a square. These will trap you in a network sphere if you're not careful. Once you defeat this Vex, you're going to get your free chest and your key chest. Final tip, again, like I said at the beginning of this little section here, as of March 7th, 2023, if you leave the area fast enough on your spare and return, you can actually get the free chest 2 more times. This will get you more chances for Neo weapons, non-craftable ones, rep for Nimbus, and craftable weapon upgrade experience like I talked about before in the craftable weapons section of this video. It actually is pretty helpful. If you get all 3, you're basically almost guaranteed a full level up on your weapon. My trusty itself is already level 74, so get the farming, Guardians. Next tip we want to go over is the gold heroic patrols. If you noticed in the previous tip that we just talked about, these were for non-craftable weapons, but you might be asking yourself, wait, Talon, how the heck do I get the craftable weapons? These things are not dropping at all in the open world. I barely got any from Nimbus just doing the main campaign story quests. What the heck is going on? Well, when you load into a zone / enter a zone on Neomuna, you need to bring out your ghost right away. If you see a golden symbol on screen, you need to stop whatever you're doing and go grab it. If you're in the middle of another event, that is fine. Go grab this patrol though, and then go finish whatever event you're gonna do so it doesn't despawn if you leave the area by accident. Once you are ready, complete the patrol. You will find one of 2 versions of these around the entire area. One has you getting 10 headshot final blows on enemies, which is pretty simple. The other one will have you go to a particular area in the sector and kill all the enemies. Keep in mind, if you have another event selected, however, on your map, this might interfere if you have to travel to finish the patrol. So be careful if you're finding that you can't see what area you need to go into. Once you finish these patrols, you're going to get a Neomuna weapon, 100% that is craftable. However, the RNG will come in if it's a red border. If it's a weapon you already have completely done and you can craft it already, then that weapon will never show up within a red bar. If you have not finished it though, you have a chance to get a red border. Hopefully the RNG gods are with you. They are not with me right now. If you want to make this go even smoother, then what you can do is you can actually grab a couple of friends and go to Neomuna. Do not go as the fire team though, and just have yourselves go onto the planet. Doesn't matter where and what section you're in. However, you're also going to want to be on comms though. As you're all wandering around, killing enemies, completing bounties, doing whatever you do, the moment one of your friends finds a heroic patrol in their game, have them tell you guys, and then you join that fire team before the patrol is finished. Then when the patrol finishes, everyone on that fire team, which is only 3 by the way for this, is gonna get a Neomuna weapon, and hopefully the red bar luck is with you. Once you're done, lead the fire team, start it over, keep doing it. Again, you can also triple dip into certain things like doing terminal overloads and other bounties. Moving away from some of the basic stuff now though, I've got to start talking about some of the abilities and extra things that we can do here with Lightfall that Strand has introduced, and honestly just made combat a lot more fun. But I think it can help everyone out here, regardless if you're a new player, returning player, or a veteran player. One ability that everyone here has been able to build into right now is Suspend. This ability is going to be really helpful for high-end PvE, and it's actually helpful for PvP, which we'll get into in just a second here. So if we're talking PvE though, we're talking Grandmasters, Raids, Masters Dungeons, etc., right? I mean, with this ability, you get an amazing crowd control. You can handle champions, including stunning unstops. Do keep in mind though, for the champions though, for overloads, aka the overlords as I like to call them, when they're suspended, they can still heal through it, so just keep that in mind. It also gives you time to reload, throw out a super, heal, help your teammates, etc. So it's great all around. And I probably should not be saying this, it can be pretty crazy in PvP. I know a lot of players laugh at PvP since Bungie basically does not care about it. Don't believe me? Check out this video in the top right corner. And others are simply trying to get to level 1810 for right now. But suspend is going to be crazy powerful in PvP since it stops your opponent from moving. Now, you can still shoot, but it's going to be in a third-person view, and that is going to be pretty tricky unless you're like some god-tier player or something like that. So if you really want to be dealing with some of this high-level end content, even if you're going in at like 30 under level, suspend is really going to help you out, especially if you equip the grenade. And if you're a warlock, which we'll get into a little bit more details later, you can actually consume it and yeah, just make the room go boom essentially. Finally, with the mods that we currently have in level 20, shooting a tangle with a strand weapon causes explosions, aka the boom we just literally talked about, which will again suspend enemies for you. Not sure how this is going to change when we go into season 21 and everything, but for now, it's amazing. So if you're not running it already or you're doing much harder content, run suspend. It's an awesome perk. Coming into a brand new one, at least for Destiny, is commendations. Now, commendations is basically like a small scoring system in Destiny 2. Basically, at the end of every playlist, think strikes, PvP, gambit, seasonal activities, etc., you basically get to rate your teammates. Each commendation seems to be between 3 to 6 points. Things like raids and dungeons, however, though, seem to give you more points, at least I think the most of them from what we've seen, and also there's one of them available via gambits, although I cannot confirm this. So as you continue to play some of these events, more and more of your teammates usually will start giving you scores each time, and these scores are going to add up for your commendation points. This actually is something that other players can view if they happen to look at your character when they inspect you. Now keep in mind, however, though, if you leave an event early before somebody is able to reward you these, you're not going to get them. So for example, if you enter a strike and you all finish a strike and you just leave automatically and then your teammates go into the system and they try to just give you points or score you essentially, guess what? They're not going to be able to because it's going to say literally, hey, your teammate left. So don't leave too fast there, guys. Now this system seemed really cool when it was originally shown off, and for the most part, it was actually really cool when we started up Lightfall. However, we quickly realized that it's actually tied to your Guardian rank as well, which is basically the new way of leveling up this time. And it takes 750 points of these to just get from level 6 to level 7 if you're a veteran player. And I've even seen some things that are going to cost us like 1600. And these only give you 2 to 5, maybe 6 at most per activity? That's not a very good system, Bungie. You might want to go back to the drawing board on this one. Now, there actually is a cheese where you can launch into the Master Wellspring events, you know, the events in Savathun's Throne World, die to rockets, basically bring rockets, wipe your own team, and then you can vote, and you just keep doing this over and over again. Hopefully Bungie will change this soon, but until then, if you really actually care about your Guardian rank, you're going to want to level this up, because this will reset in Season 21, and you'll go back to level 6. So let us know down in the comments below if you have a faster way of doing it, but until then, get the cheese and Guardians. Moving on to something else though is vendors. Vendors have been getting updates since Witch Queen, and Lightfall is no different here. This time it's a pretty big one though, and honestly it's an amazing update. With the removal of Umbral engrams, we actually have seasonal engrams now. These are for the Battlegrounds seasonal playlist for this particular season. Modes like Strikes, PvP, and Gambit will actually stay the way that they are, and they have their own unique engrams for that particular vendor. So Strike engrams, for example, will save Zavala, and so on. Now, you can either just simply accept these when you go and talk to said vendors for random rewards, regardless of weapons or armor, or you can actually focus them into particular armor or weapons of your choosing. If you've actually obtained these weapons already, though, they actually have a much lower cost than if you have not obtained them yet. For weapons and strikes and such, however, though, that might have adept weapons, you will need to complete Grandmaster Nightfall strikes to get extra currency for those focusings. It's a pretty big price, but it might be worth it for some people if you have not gotten the role that you want, or you simply don't have the weapon yet that you extremely want and you just were not able to beat the Grandmaster Strike at that time. This is a pretty cool system, and I definitely see it getting toned down in some of its costs as time goes on, and it's been quoted already that more and more weapons will be added to this as each season goes on. Not sure if others will be taken out as time goes on as well. My guess would be yes, but until then, make sure you grab the weapons that you absolutely want/need before they go away potentially. All right, for this next one, I'm going to need you to all bring it in here for all my Warlock mates. Sorry, Hunters and Titans, it's not favoritism. I only played one character, and I've had Warlock since D1 released. But this is for all my Warlock mates. You're going to love this. As you may know, the Warlock is the only class that has the ability to consume the grenade when holding down said button. When you do, the grenade will have an actual slightly different effect. You don't have the grenade anymore, but when you do a particular action, something else is going to happen, and generally it's for the better. Let's say, for example, you have the Shackle grenade, new to Strand, right? After you consume it and you shoot an enemy and you kill it, that will actually create an explosion. Small, but it still creates an explosion nonetheless. any enemy that is caught next to it will actually get suspended because you consumed the shackle grenade. And this isn't some short time, like 5 seconds. This thing goes for a full good 20 seconds. Maybe in the future we'll be able to extend it to 30 or even more, but until then, it's a great crowd control. So basically, consume your grenade, kill a low health enemy, which in turn creates a blast that will suspend other enemies that are within the area. This can also be chained as well if you have certain seasonal mods on, or if there are others on your fire team shooting enemies as well. If you switch over to one of the other grenades, which is the threadling grenade, it actually gives you 5 threadlings automatically and they circle around you. As you know, the Warlock is the only character where the threadlings will come back to you. When you shoot the enemies, the threadlings will leave your body and they'll actually go and attack the enemies. Huge tip that you need to be doing right now if you're a Warlock player and you love your threadling army. Consume your grenade, then lay down a rift. Do not shoot anything. This will actually send out all of your threadlings at once, 5 from the grenade and 3 from the rift, attacking all enemies. And again, if they don't find any of the enemies, then they'll simply return to you. But this is an amazing way to deal damage and do huge crowd control moments. And if you have another teammate that potentially is allowing people to shackle or suspend some of your enemies, then man, it's gonna work out great. All right, calling back all the hunters and titans. I know, that was for the warlocks only, but trust me, this is for everyone right now. We need to talk about threads. You know, those little balls that you create when you're shooting enemies, you're destroying them, and all of a sudden they just pop up all over the place. They do have a bit of a cooldown, but regardless, you see them all over the map now. Okay, I'm gonna need you to stop picking these up. Not so much for easy content like patrols and everything like that, but I'm talking about the harder events. You know, the moment we start going into strikes or anything else that has a good amount of enemies. As of right now for season 20, I'm gonna need you to stop picking these up because these things don't really do much damage in the spree of things when you just simply throw them at somebody. I need you to start shooting these things, and more importantly, I need you to start shooting these things with a strand weapon. Again, I know the first thing we want to do is just simply pick them up and yeet them at the enemy. And for red bar enemies, again, in patrols, super simple, go for it. But for higher content, you're gonna need to do this. Shoot them. Depending on the weapon you use, say like Quicksilver, strand weapons, etc., you can actually suspend enemies or cause bigger explosions depending on certain mods and fragments that you have attached. So one of my favorite things to do is actually grab the exotic Quicksilver assault rifle and using the new catalyst, actually get a grenade ready. Then consume my grenade. So for example, I like to use suspend for this particular one. Next, shoot a grenade at a group of enemies, then hold down R, aka reload if you're on PC, to return to the assault rifle mode. You'll notice one of those threads will be in the middle of that area of enemies that you just destroyed. At least one of them. Don't shoot it at a boss, obviously. I mean, the grenade does good damage, but this is for crowd control and everything. After you return to the assault rifle mode, shoot that thread. This is gonna create a huge burst of energy that will just go everywhere, tangle everybody, weaken them, and suspend them as well if you have the proper mods and attachments on. Usually this blast will kill a lot of weaker enemies, but it will also stop the stronger enemies like champions and the chickens. You know what I'm talking about. Don't lie, we all hate those chickens. Of course, if the room is empty, however, though, and you happen to find one, go ahead and pick it up, bring it into the next room, and chuck it if you want to. But start shooting these threads, especially again if you're in higher level content, especially for my Warlock players, since every time you shoot them, if you're using the new exotic leg armor, this will cause not only an explosion, but create more threadlings. It's a win-win situation all around. So again, pick it up if there's no one else left in the room and go to the next one if you want to, or again, if the enemies are super weak. The higher the difficulty is though, start shooting them with strand weapons, and it's gonna make things a lot easier and honestly, just a lot more fun. Okay, to finish up this video, we've got some extra little tips, tricks, mods, glitches, grapple stuff, and the works. So here we go. First off, did you know that you could actually grapple one of your own rockets? Of course you do. You've been seeing it all over the internet, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc. I still can't personally do it though. Here, you can go ahead and laugh at me in the comments right now. I failed a lot, so yeah. Anyway, moving on. If your character model and gun is ever glitching out like it is on screen currently right now, Bungie is aware of this and they are currently trying to fix it, but they said until then, the current fix is to actually reset your game. Like actually close it and reopen the game fully on your console or on Steam. Make sure to always constantly be checking back into your artifact on your character page and grab some of the mods that are on the far right of it so that these builds can go from good to amazing. I know if you're a veteran or returning player, this is kind of a duh thing to say, but for our newer players, this is definitely something you want to get used to as the seasons go on, especially if you stick around with the game. Speaking of mods, I'm not sure if this one is fixed yet, but just to be safe, if your mods are not working, say for example, the Unstoppable Scout mod, which was not working for me for a while, you need to actually reset the artifact and also remove all of the mods on your character. We can take a picture with your phone or a screenshot, then reattach all of them. This should fix all of the mod problems that we are having. The only ones I don't know that are fixed yet are all of the verbs when it comes to your classes. So things like Stasis Crystal, arc traces, etc. I have not seen these around the entire game ever since Lightfall started. I don't know if this is a glitch, I don't know if it's a bug, but until then, for your mods specifically, make sure you take them off, reattach them, and everything should be good for your character. Again, aside from those verb things that we just talked about beforehand, no idea when those are going to be fixed. But just keep that in mind if something's not working and you need to reset something. Speaking of loadouts though, the loadout system is a great way to switch between different builds, and you only need to really have one piece of gear for certain parts. Let's say, for example, you have a really good chest armor and you have nothing else. It's just a legendary chest armor, and you can use it for things like both your stasis and void build without having to go in and attach every single time you want to switch over to stasis or void or that chest armor. So pick stasis as your subclass, select the mods that you want for the armor, and save that loadout. Then start building your void build out, and then you can actually save a new loadout. There are 6 currently right now available to everyone, but you can actually get 10 as you continue to rank up, which is pretty nice. But regardless, get your classes set up the way you want to, whether it's PvE or PvP, and things are going to work out pretty well for you. Just remember, always save your builds and your loadouts before moving on, otherwise you're going to have to do that all over again. Our last little bit here for you is a great way to get a free exotic without having to try any legend lost sectors. This, by the way, though, is still the best way to farm certain parts, but if you're just simply looking for a nice little exotic to get, this is a great way to do it, and that is the Vex Terminal after beating the campaign and Lightfall on Neomuna. Now, from what we've been told, this could be different. This thing will appear at the beginning of every hour of the day. So for example, say 3 o'clock. If you've completed everything to unlock this, then what you should be able to do is go into the particular area of Neomuna, and you'll actually see a ton of chickens running around, aka the Vex chickens, if you don't know what I'm actually talking about. You need to take all these guys out. You get like 10 minutes to do it. Now, this is pretty hard by yourself, but hopefully other players around the area should be joining you, or if you have a fire team with you, this can help even more, and you can take them out. When you finish, there is a chance that you'll get an exotic to drop. I've heard a pretty good rate so far. Again, it's not an exact way to farm exactly what kind of exotic you are looking for, but regardless, it should be pretty good. All right, I think that's enough for everything that we found through Lightfall. Again, there's probably way more that we could even cover in this video if we wanted to. We wanted to get some of the big ones that we had found personally after playing the game for about a week or so. With the raid coming up and everything, I feel a lot of these are definitely going to help you if you're trying to do the day 1 raid, or even after simply completing high-level content and everything. But what we want to ask now is for you to leave your comments down below. What tips, tricks, glitches, fun things have you found in Lightfall for Destiny 2 since it released on February 28th? Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And again, correct us if we've missed on something or if something has been patched. Let us know. We'll pin the comment, heart it, so that everyone else can see this as time goes on. Things have changed for Season 21, but for Season 20 right now, we've got a good 3 months until things change. With all that being said now, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It's free, and also sub to the channel if you happen to enjoy this type of content. We try to cover as much gaming news and content as we possibly can. We're not as fast as everybody, but regardless, we always appreciate it if you enjoy the content. Let us know down in the comments below what we have done good, and if you happen to not like it, then leave a dislike and let us know down in the comments below how we can improve our stuff. Anyway, I've been Tallen with 5-9 Direct. Thank you so much for stopping by the video as always, and we can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Johnny.